Okay, I think we are coming online a little bit. Let me see. Is the mic working? Yes. Cool, 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 cool. I will also open up Spotify a little. So, hello everyone. Welcome back. We're going to do things a little differently this week. So, there is a data scientist on Reddit who works for Disney. And he said he is going to, she, going to share a Q&A webinar talking to a applied scientist at Amazon. So I'm going to share the link in the chat, and to be honest, I'm just going to be tuning into that, and on the side, maybe just doing a little bit of a Kaggle exploration. So I think this should be pretty cool. If you also want to check it out, I'm going to put it in chat. So here you go. There's a link in there so you can register for the webinar, but I'm going to change over into this scene so I can actually show you Kaggle and then also tune into this Zoom. So yeah, not going to be as much for me. I'll try to pop in every once in a while and maybe react a little to what's going on. I am not allowed to share the stream based off terms of service. I actually looked this up. And apparently what I did last time, also very much not allowed to do. But it's okay. Nobody, I guess, said anything. Yeah, you learn. Cool. All right, so I'm going to have Kaggle open, and you can see what I'm looking at. And normally I like to have like OneNote or Visual Studio Code open on the side, and I can take notes on things that I'm looking at. One problem is that on this big desktop that I'm currently running on, I do not have Visual Studio Code installed, so I can't do that. So instead, I will just have Notepad open and transfer it over into OneNote. OneNote, for some reason, wasn't getting captured in OBS, so there's not much I can do there, unfortunately. But yeah, cool. I will see you all, hopefully, in that chat, and then every once in a while, you'll see me just kind of exploring Kaggle a little bit. So if you have not been there, and I actually got this idea from my friend who said to just like explore, it might be fun to explore Kaggle and explain what you're looking at. Hey, how's it going, Abe Zen? Long time no see. Yeah, cool. I'll zoom in here a little bit, and if you want to check out Kaggle yourself, of course you probably have heard of it, but if you haven't heard of it, they do a lot of data science and projects, that kind of stuff, and there's ways you can compare against what other people are doing. It's a cool site. They got interesting data, pretty clean data, so you don't have to deal with a whole lot of data engineering or data wrangling, but of course, like, you'll probably have to do just a little bit. So yeah, okay, cool. Popping into that stream. Hit the wrong link. Where did I put it? There we go. Cool. All right.
Okay, one more minute. Okay, guys, I think we have about 160 folks here so far, and it's a pretty packed house. So yeah, let's get going, and as people trickle in, we'll fill them in. Let me start recording because I know a lot of you guys have been requesting the full recording of this. So let me start recording, and then we'll kick it off. Okay, so we are recording, and we're officially starting our Q&A session, our data science Q&A session. I'm so excited to have Krishna with me. He and I actually used to work together at ZS. We were data science consultants there. He was definitely like superior to me there and was a treasure to work with. And I found out recently that he was now applied scientist at Amazon. I'm like, wow, this is literally one of the most coveted positions in all of FANG. And just to chatting with him and seeing how he got there, I immediately thought all of you guys need to hear this. All of you guys need to hear kind of how he got to where he's at and the tips and tricks that he used to get to where he's at. I think I mentioned this in my description. He background is actually in civil engineering, which I'm sure he's going to get to, which is even crazier. Think about that. Civil engineer at literally the most coveted data science positions in all of Bang, right? And like I said, I'm also excited because I don't know the
So
nitty gritty as well. So I'm really excited to hear what he
I'm
has to say because I'm going to be learning just as much as you guys are. Before he does hop in, I wanted to kind of share a couple links in the description. So, I always keep these free and I'll always keep these free, right? That's always going to be the case. And I want this to be a free resource. But as quote unquote, oh, sorry about that, guys. One sec. As quote unquote admission, I will ask you guys to do one thing. Oh man, give me a second. I am messing things up. Give me a second. Perfect. Cool. So I never ask for anything in return usually, right? But I will ask for something this time. Please head to my YouTube channel and subscribe. I'll take that as admission for this session. I know there's plenty of you guys in here and your support is absolutely invaluable. And I will always try to put out free content. And um, what I'd ask for in return is you to support and subscribe to my channel. I think I like I said, would really appreciate that. And I don't know, it'll mean a lot to me to kind of get your support moving forward.
so
I see people want Gather review. Okay, did that. Yeah, so I'll give it a couple
I'm
minutes.
hoping
Please
that
go to my YouTube
it's a
channel and
webinar
subscribe, and then
and
we'll
that
kick off
he cannot hear
this
me.
webinar.
No
I
one can
feel
hear me.
weird asking this, but
But yeah,
I I think
it
it's
seems like
fair,
it's gonna be
right?
cool.
And I really appreciate all of your support and the fact that you guys are even attending this, right? Like this is your afternoon, your middle of the night, and you guys are spending it with us and you're here trying to learn from us. And I am privileged to have all of you join us today. So I'm going to give it a couple more, like one more minute. Please go ahead and subscribe. I see a ton of subscriptions coming in. Oh, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Like I said, I feel uncomfortable asking these things, but I really appreciate
Let me
you
double
guys just
check if Zoom
kind of helping me out and
webinars.
supporting me through this whole process.
Um,
So enough of my enough of my promo. I'm going to hand it off to Krishna, who's going to take us on this journey and teach us a wealth of kind of tips that we can all leverage in our day to day. With that, Krishna, I'm excited to have you.
Thank you, Madhav. Uh, Very humbling introduction. I'm a very niche, uh, still very young into data science. I'm still learning. There's a lot more to learn for me. I think I haven't even learned even a tip of water in an ocean so far. So thank you for the very humbling introduction, Madhav. Uh, okay. First of all,
I
good
don't think
morning,
they can hear
good
me,
afternoon,
so
good evening, good
that's good.
night, all kinds of good to everyone who have joined with us. Thank you, Madhav, for actually organizing it. It's such a pleasure
Yeah, they're doing some
to
introductions right
meet
now.
people, to meet folks
The guests
who
used
have
they used to
similar
work together
aspiring interests,
at ZS
and we're
Associates.
all able to share
Um,
in a common platform. Thank you, Madhav, for that. Uh, okay, with this, let me share my
and
screen.
Currently, the guest is an applied scientist at Amazon, which I'd actually applied there.
Okay, are you able to see my screen?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah. In the meantime, so on Kaggle,
Not yet.
I've got a few data sets here. So I've got Pokemon with stats, and I'd actually done a
This
Codestream
is
with this
just
before.
typical COVID things, right?
Um,
Sharing screen, things, Zoom breaking down.
and
Give us
this one's not very
just a second,
complicated,
guys.
but I think this is something that it uses stats, or not real stats, Pokemon stats. And wow, it's really
Looks
been a while
like
since I looked at this. but it does things like have the
Any
Pokemon names,
what's
their
going on?
types,
Can I help out?
and then the actual stats of
So you
all the
should be able
Pokemon.
to. My advanced sharing allows all panelists to share.
Um,
Okay.
and I know I
Yeah.
was working on
If you
something
want, you can send
to
to me, and I don't mind
basically
sharing it.
um,
Sure. I'll do
try to do type comparisons,
Just
like
bear with
what
us,
is the
guys. I
chance of
appreciate
winning.
everyone's patience. Awesome. You guys are great.
Oh no. Interesting.
I've never heard that, Saharsh. I'm gonna tell my mom that. That's too funny. Um,
Okay. Maybe. Hopefully they still can't hear me.
you guys are cracking me up. I guess for everyone in the recording, apparently I am a young Sonu Nigam to some of the folks on the chat, which I'm not so sure about, but I'll take your word for it. I swear these are so fun. I feel like it's been like 2 months since I've done this, and I'm so happy right now.
Yeah, cool. You can hear me now. Good, 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 good. I'm hoping that
Again, you guys
this
are
webinar,
pretty
I'm
amazing.
still muted because there's no
Obviously,
reason for me
appreciate it.
to be heard in a webinar. I'm a guest. But yeah, so basically what I'm showing here is this Pokemon Kaggle dataset.
And Krishna, feel free to send me
And what I've been doing before was looking at this dataset, has the names of all the Pokemon, and as well as their types and stats.
my Gmail.
And the goal was to basically try to predict like a chance of winning within the project I had before is like within a certain stat total.
Have you
Um,
launched the Docker module?
and the hope was that it was going to be mostly based off of the typing and just ignoring the attack. And the reason why I wanted to restrict it based off of stat total, because obviously Bulbasaur taking on, say, Mewtwo,
Alpha.docker.
if we go all the way down
Sorry,
here,
guys.
um, they're having pretty big technical problems on the stream. So, um, yeah. So comparing like Bulbasaur against Mewtwo, Bulbasaur is poison as a secondary type, and its stat total is way less than Mewtwo, so it's obviously going to lose. So it's not interesting to see um, those two kind of battle it out, you know? So if you were curious about doing this as a data set, like I think it's actually pretty fun. It seems really simple, but there's like kind of like fun things you can do with it, which is why I picked it as like a Codestream problem. Um, if we're looking at other data sets, oh yeah, and then this other one I have, this like what's cooking data set. I use this as the basis for Melion actually, and this was one of the data sets that I decided was not sufficient for what I wanted to do because it didn't actually have
Guys, see my screen?
classification on there.
So go ahead and let me know when you want me to move along.
Sure. Sure.
Okay,
Thank you.
cool.
Thank you, Manu.
So
Apologies
the
for the delay.
webinar is finally
Um,
kicking off. So if y'all haven't checked it out, I would recommend it.
I want to talk about myself
It's going to be
where I'm from,
intro to the
where I
guest,
used to
their
do
journey into
my
data
work as a
science, and
data
then simple
scientist,
tips for
how it has
aspiring data
transitioned
scientists.
from
I think this is pretty
industry
cool. I don't know if maybe this
to
is something that other people
enterprise
would be interested in.
in my 10 years of professional career. And finally, I would like to discuss some important tips for aspiring data scientists, like what are the things which needs to be taken care of, and what are the things which I would take care of if I was given a chance to start my data science career today. Okay, so with this, we'll go into about me. I'm a native of Hyderabad, from India, country. topic to make recommendations.
Man.
Fortunately, I was able to get opportunity to build three recommender systems in my career shift so far.
Everyone's
And
just
one of
sending
them
yes in the
is
chat for the webinar
has been
because
one of my
I
closest
don't know why. I think they're asking if the screen is being shared, and now everyone's just saying yes over and over
when
again.
we go into my journey
It's
into data
actually
science.
very annoying.
Uh, so with that, uh, so in like in 2010, I graduated with my bachelor's in civil engineering. I also went on to become a construction engineer, building thermal power plant in India. Uh, and somewhere around to like in 2013, like 3 years uh, down my road, I was reading some articles about a boom on data science coming up back then. Uh, Civil engineering is again a
But yeah,
very new
um,
field.
so I didn't use Yumly
So
because it didn't have the
all
classification,
these
or actually, sorry, it did have
mathematical
classifications,
so
but
we do have
um,
basic
the data was
mathematical
bad for users.
understanding, right?
Basically, it had recipes
Design
with
thinking,
ingredients in the
from
classification,
mechanical
and then
to
you didn't actually know what it was making.
like
You couldn't go to a website to do it, to look at the recipe and make
so
anything. It was just ingredients.
one key
So it's
element
not really fun, right?
for
Like you can't,
building
you
solid
get told like, hey,
statistical
you've got
mathematical
like
formulation or
a
something like that.
Italian dish or a Spanish
So
dish,
unlike today,
and then it's like, okay,
where
cool. How do I make it?
one
Couldn't tell you.
piece of
Um,
was called structural
so I actually
mathematics.
decided to
How are
use
these mathematics
the What's Cooking dataset as a way to
built
augment my
so
Melion dataset,
essentially structural
and it's because it's classified
that
like
with
data
one
labeled
piece
data.
of
If it weren't labeled,
and then we
it
have
would
like
honestly just not be very useful.
uh,
um,
so
so
and
yeah, if we want to see other data sets,
build machine learning like uh, I think
um,
I might have done something
trending data
similar
sets. Now,
back
why
then,
would
but
these be trending?
that I had to
Kaggle's
learn
actually changed their UI a lot since the last time
so
I've
I
been
did
here, so it's like kind of interesting to look at
and all
the
that.
CT and brain scans
So
thing.
that
That
was
sounds really cool. That sounds like a good
like
computer vision
and
problem.
when I deployed my
Um,
data sets, how to
Dataset was
build
aggregated to be used to train a
algorithms.
cyclogram model
Some
in
funny
image-to-image translation. But
stories.
yeah,
There
this
are
is pretty
two
cool. Um,
budding data scientists. They're actually working on art.
so there are
So that is
CT
somebody
and MRI
who
scans, and I guess I'm
contributed
just
on that.
confused. Like,
And then I felt
what
comfortable
is the
that
point
this is an
of
area where
using this data set?
I can do some programming on art. I can learn some mathematical
There's 6
formulations and
views.
somewhere
Apparently
along
that's
the way
trending, just 6 views.
want to do my master's program in data science.
Hmm. Usability.
Now,
Excuse me. Is it 6.3?
here I would say the first key takeaway of a small journey from 2010 to 2014. The key takeaway I want to
Okay, it's already
highlight
divided
is
into
that
test and train,
never back
which I
down
don't really like.
because you're not at
Um,
100% stack.
can't really
The
do
programs that
anything with
you
this.
like are
They should just be
multi-threaded,
one set that you can
all these are
like
all these
decide to test train split
have
like you should.
uh,
Um,
have a very
okay,
strong
that could be
foundation
an interesting data set, but I don't know.
in the community
Not gonna pick that one.
where
Um,
we have tons of opportunities to actually learn
let's open up
and
other
apply that
ones.
to
New York City
so
daily temperature.
these
How would you use
like
this?
New York as a non-city has
Actually, if you want New York City data,
like after my degree
let me think.
take a stab at it.
NYC
If
data.
you want to
Oops, not Data Science Academy, data.
you can pursue that.
Here you go.
One
I don't
thing
know why you'd go to
that
Kaggle for this. Just go here. They have so much data.
program
This is like
uh,
one of the coolest sites I've ever seen.
to get
Um,
started
you could do so many things to investigate their data sets. So like,
since we have a lot
ooh,
of
health.
we have
Let's say
experience
environment.
now it comes to a choice like whether we want to
Let's also look at the
build a
most popular
program
ones.
using
Water consumption.
code using online materials but back then since
Oh my god, I recognize this format.
this is where I
We have the
started
same
into the marketing
open dataset thing at work, so I wonder if they have the same
uh,
the same company
and
setting things up for them.
what I was doing
um,
along with learning I was
but
also trying to teach what
I
I
think
learned.
these are super cool data sets. Like
Back
if you
then
just want to do really anything,
and then I
um,
ended up mentoring
like
some
pick a
undergraduates
topic that you like. Like maybe you don't want to do the environment. Maybe you want to look at.
so
They used to have traffic data on
I
here.
actually gave
Uh,
like I
oops.
should say like
Department of Transportation.
that I can learn art, I can learn data science, I can start applying them.
Get rid of this
Uh,
environment filter.
and then that actually start like I should say like that
Like, look at this real-time traffic speed data. That must be fun. Open streets locations,
with
parking meters, GPS coordinates, and status. Like, this is like the nerdiest data, right? Like, I think this is super cool. If you want like a data,
so it's a
um,
two second
cool
data
data science project, I'm sure you could find a
like
bunch of stuff to do in
Yeah,
here.
I just wanna pause there because that is such a
Um,
phenomenal point, right?
sorry, the host said like,
Master's program so
I
that
want to
you
pause here, and I
can
was like,
have
oh shit, can I? Are they hearing me? uh-huh.
and
Like open street locations. Like,
because
what if you
all the time when
could?
I look at candidates, I can tell they've just gone through the course
I
program
wonder if you
and
could map out,
certificate, but
um,
they just went through it. They didn't actually sit down and say,
like
have they
a.
actually learned? Have they actually understood the
What if you could
concepts?
use something like the
And
the
they just
parking
went through it.
meters GPS
So the
locations, or
master's
maybe the traffic counts or the
essentially
traffic speed
has
data to
gone
give
through
you
it.
like a probability of like
It's
what is like a random walk you could do
it's
given that you have like
data
20
on
minutes to go. So let me
and
actually write
here's
this
the
down.
thing, if you don't also not first do that, you realize, oh wait, maybe I don't have the capacity
Zoom
to
in a
do
little
that.
bit so you can actually
Why? Because you're
see.
not willing to take that risk to ask yourself that question. And obviously that has paid dividends for you, which, like I said, I just wanted to highlight that because it's a very good point
Let's
that goes
go to
underappreciated quite
the
a bit.
original.
So please continue.
yeah, that
Oof.
leads to my second key takeaway is that create your own mechanism which reduces you to learn and push autonomy. Never think like a degree or some kind of a certificate will
That's a
actually
lot. Yeah, that's that
tackle
should be
all the
legible.
hard work. You should have a
Um,
mechanism where you constantly learn
have
and
data
push
on
autonomy.
so many topics at
That is the
NYC
approach.
Open Data.
That is the
Uh,
point
Looking at
where
this
we can build a very
real-time
powerful
traffic speed
organization.
data,
Uh, Continuing with that,
bicycle
with the
routes.
team, I joined DS as a data scientist. DS is a management consulting firm, and I was fortunate enough to be among the first three data scientists what they have hired back then. Had a very great strong mentorship over there. Built my first recommender model back then, and it was deployed into production. Uh, one
Let's see.
one
What
key thing of
if you took
understanding
this
is
data
that
and tried
I was able to
to
co-author two books in art.
make a
So
map
the journey how it
of
happened was
um,
was that um,
trips
I had some good mentors at DS. Was
you
able to
could
collaborate with
take
them. One of
within
the
a
outcome of collaboration was
certain
why don't we start writing something
time
called Sql Lite
period
Database.
or
Now that
distance.
includes um, myself as one of my partner at DS to actually co-author two books in
Oh,
art.
cool. Check out these bicycle
To
routes. It's just a
co-author
map.
three short essays
I don't know, just
very
I'm nerding out a little bit over this. This is pretty cool data. So if you want like a data set to try to play with, like a bunch of different projects, like I highly recommend New York City Open City or New York City Open Data. I really don't know why you would get that daily temperature thing. I think this is, oh, it's from NOAA. That's why. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Um, I mean, that's pretty cool too, but yeah, I don't know.
and then make sure what are the good tangible outcomes of collaboration. So what I had fortunate enough was writing books, but there are tons of outcomes
Let's see. What else we got on Kaggle?
in your code.
Um,
Videos, you can have your tutorial channels,
Kaggle.
you can have papers, you can publish
Let me see.
articles, you can publish in journals. So
CT
try to find writing resources
and
written or
MRI
written
brain
videos,
scans.
and then try to
Don't
understand
recommend.
them, and then create a
Data
system
already
that will actually
split into train,
technically
test.
professional
Unclear
use as well as
clear what the
basically
purpose of the
for your own resume.
data is.
Now, this
Could
helps
possibly just create
with
more
my
images
next job
with
at
GAN, but
where
why?
I was fortunate enough to build
If
a
the
coding system
scans don't
that
have labels, what are you looking for?
so this was my whole journey
actually,
I just want to like
being unlabeled doesn't matter, but
takeaways from my own journey is that
what are you looking
whenever I
for
talk to
in
people
this data?
from different backgrounds, programming is something that we can learn. It's simple,
Let's see, what else we got?
definitely, definitely easy,
Protests
and the
against mass
academic
tourism?
background is
What on
not the right
earth?
scenario when you're building data science. Second thing is that create your own mechanics
Media
of how
text
how
collected for the
that
qualitative
you
analysis of
make sure
discourses,
that
narratives
you
about
use
urban
proper
protests
terminology. And
and
third thing,
dissent against mass tourism in Venice, Amsterdam, and
have the right
Barcelona. What a weirdly
outcomes.
specific.
Work with your mentors
Ooh, hey.
and get
So it's a
feedback
super
so that you
specific
can
data set.
which can
Uh,
help.
but it looks like there's sentiment analysis, and you can use this for
I will
NLP.
switch to my next
So that's
part,
kind of
which is
cool.
going
The
to
only
be
issue I have is that
of simple tips for
the
aspiring data scientists.
text for is in several different languages, so this could be very
Can you
difficult to deal
elaborate a
with.
bit on your role at Amazon and what you're doing there?
Sure, sure. At Amazon, I'm currently at Amazon Advertising. So at Amazon
Um,
Advertising, we are
yeah, I don't
currently
know if I would use
building
this one,
which
but it
actually
is nice as a
focuses on
different NLP
what
data set.
the
So I think one thing about
client
Kaggle is
is
like,
needing.
or I guess data science projects in general,
And
it's like
and
really
and
easy to pick something or a
Kaggle
data
is
set that
one
like a
that
lot of other
focuses
people have
on
already used.
focusing on
Uh,
Amazon
and Kaggle is like pretty convenient for that because there's so many data sets that have been relatively
help
cleaned.
you
But
and
um, sometimes like you just want to pick something that you're personally more interested in, right? Like some of these like I don't really care about. Air traffic data is not something I particularly care to
next
see,
segment is
even during
that
COVID, although I'm sure it's
key
interesting.
tips for
Um,
aspiring data scientists.
and like
To make sure
Dogecoin historical
that
data over only like
all
2 years is like, okay, cool.
and
But
whenever you
yeah, Korean
focus
instant
on
noodle price history. Actually, that sounds kind of interesting. I wonder if there's like ways you
and
can correlate this with something else.
not
Um,
question the data what we are coming up with.
data goes back to
Again, these are the two issues
2001.
the science
Data
we are
set's
using is not
pretty
science at all.
small. Uh,
Both are questionable at any given point of time.
2001
So
to
that is that
2016, so
we have
15 years of
when we
price
have
history.
like a sophisticated data science problem
Man, that's
on
really, it's kind of funny that this is like a price index item in Korea.
which
Um,
one you are interested in. And then
yeah,
at that point of time
that's
we
interesting.
uncover that
I wonder if you
the
can,
data
if
was
you
wrong on that
combine
particular
this,
question.
if you aggregated this data or augmented this
And
data
at
with
that point
something
of time,
else
so whenever
to
we have
show
a problem
was there something that
on
happened that like could have
a
caused
data
this
set,
price increase.
always ask
Um,
questions
but yeah,
like
this one you could
what
probably
kind of
be
data
kind of
do you
interesting,
have
but have to be
on
augmented because
this
as it is
particular
now, like
problem.
isn't it just a line graph? Like I don't know what you'd
And this is
actually see.
we can again
So yeah, let's
use check out
Korean
check out the questions
instant
and models.
noodle
Even in terms of
price
the model,
history.
am I using the right set of models? Are my assumptions
Small
are they aligned?
data
Uh,
set,
even a
but what
calculation
if
tool like Canva
you
is
could
helpful. So
augment it
make sure
with other
uh, these are
economic
these are some of the
data?
questions at the
Maybe
right point
see
of
a
time. And
correlation
then also,
between
in order to
um,
in order to avoid
events
this,
and
again, you can
instant
start with
noodle
articles
pricing.
available on 538. It's a building platform where you actually have a good data-driven
Shrink this
platform.
again.
So there, you can pick up articles on the themes what you are actually
I
interested
hope
in,
this is still legible and
politics,
just
whichever
put
domain you're interested in.
uh,
You actually can start pick up data-driven articles from there. Start questioning on those. Why is this data
split this up.
showing this kind of analysis? What is the science behind it? And that. Uh, this gives you the second tip is that don't run away from your basics. Basics are very important, and the basics for any machine learning are statistics. Concepts of statistics are that important
So
that
I'm
any
trying to make
machine
this
learning
neater, a little bit easier to read.
like a very sophisticated
Uh,
system like a model, you still have to go back to our stats to actually check what is the math behind it. So try to understand the math, like a very simple example can be linear regression. In R and Python, values, we can look at the p values, r squared. It actually can come up with a conclusion. But a data scientist should not stop over there. He should know what is the math
I like,
and
so in
what
this webinar, the
how
data
the
scientist is
application
talking about
what are the errors
making sure you know the
by
basics,
default.
and the basics is statistics for data
So
scientists. So it's
we should be
interesting.
able to build our own domain specific tools at one point of time. If not, we should be at least looking
And
at
that
the
includes
basics
building your own
of
basic model to get some work done, which is,
understand what is the key
yeah.
language, like why are these p values so like why should we use
Let's
p
see.
values only
I'm
when
not gonna lie,
we
some of
need
these
to
data
run
sets on Kaggle are
right?
not
Here
very
we
good.
have
I'm just gonna say that.
specific
I don't think they're
of
particularly interesting, and the data's so
multiple
small that, like, what would you do? Like,
and
price of
these
Bitcoin.
values are directly
Um,
linked to the
I
math.
guess it's a similar thing.
It
You could,
actually helps you
like this one right here.
solve
You
a lot
could
of
augment it just with the Korean
and
instant noodle price
remove a lot
history,
of
but like,
doubts, right?
actually, yeah, that'd be kind of interesting. But by
So
itself, I don't see
basically
how this is all
it's
that
kind of
interesting.
an exponential journey.
Um,
To understand the basics, right? The kind of learning what you're going to have is going to be
and then the
very very
prices
higher.
in Philippine pesos
If the basics are not that strong,
taken from Google Finance.
well,
Like, I guess you can just make a visualization,
that's
but
that's
like,
the
why?
so
um,
I went so that's
Distributed
basically
peer
what
review,
we do
anonymized
to
dataset.
to build the
Interesting.
projects. The third part I would like to iterate on is build projects end to end. Like
What is
you
this?
can take any project maybe on any of the
Feedback only
categories
with
that you are
gender.
doing, but try to take some projects or on
Years
the
past
domain where you like.
PhD.
Don't take the projects what are actually there on websites or on
Hmm.
forums, right? Because
I wonder what
why I
this.
do this thing on domain is that that will actually help you
There's not a lot of
identify what
descriptions in
specific
this,
websites you would like to
but
unfollow or
that'd
cancel.
be.
And
This
you'll
looks
be
like
able
it
to
might be kind of
appreciate those things
fun.
at
Maybe I'm
the
just biased because I, you know,
end of time,
I was in
right?
academia. Um,
Like whenever
so
you're
like
doing
just being able
something,
to
do a
get
thorough
some
data analysis.
metadata
Data
on the
analysis
people who
is
reviewed my
very
manuscripts would
important.
be kind of interesting.
So
Yeah, that could
there
be
can be
cool.
data science without data analysis, but there cannot be data analysis without
Some of
data
these
science.
data sets, I'm kind of
It has to
confused.
be
Like,
in a
didn't these already
very
exist
tight
in
way.
other places?
And then try to see if you can, if not in
And I
other
wonder
places,
if
at
people
least
are
in
just
your
like
own domain.
resharing data sets.
Uh, that's why I insist on have a project end to end from the stage where you get your data, you perform a data analysis on it, understand the summaries of it, build your first model, write the
And it's really
business
weird. I don't know.
parameters, try to
Is
see
there
why
a
why
market
this
or something? Do you
particular
get
particular
credit
model
for putting stuff on like
performance
data
better.
sets on Kaggle?
That can decide the cost of it,
I don't know. Like
and then try to
this
find a
Enron
solution
spam
for
one,
it.
like literally exists somewhere else.
That yeah, that will be
Website
that will be the third
classification.
one. The fourth key element is reviewing your work.
Hmm.
Uh, GitHub is one of the easy resources. You can even
Dataset
review
was created by scraping
your peers with your
different
peers.
websites and then
Make
classifying them
sure
into
you
different
know
categories based on the
what is the
extracted
user
text. So, what are the classifications?
because that will actually help, especially for the
Travel,
non-computer science people,
education,
to
business,
understand what
corporate.
is the good style of coding, what are the good style of reviewing our code, what are some key elements to be ensured in order to make the code run
Category.
containerize, how can we
Most common is
scale our
education.
code to run
There
properly
are
in lightweight
1,408
environments. So
categories. No, there's
reviewing
16
our
categories and 1,408 entries. Interesting. Okay.
that's a
This is really interesting, and one piece of
I guess this
advice
is
that
kind of
I
fun. This
have
is kind of basic.
incredible.
is
Um,
even I ran into this and had a rude awakening for myself because I was very typical in the sense where I like to prototype and build things on the fly, but it wasn't structured that well. And the second I started working with like full-fledged data engineers and having to collaborate with them,
how did these
it was
get labeled?
immediately a shift because these guys are running highly modularized, just clean,
What a
well-documented
weird,
code base, and I was not. And it
weird
was
data
like
set.
a massive kind of learning curve for me to get to that level on the fly. And in hindsight, I wish I spent time focusing on that earlier on, like Christian was just mentioning. I think this is a great piece of advice, and not a lot of people mention it.
Hmm.
Yeah, same here. If I was given a chance to start my data
U.S.
science
stock
career,
market,
my
261
first goal would
megabytes.
be to code in the US.
Definitely.
2 Python scripts which can fetch data on their own machine without special requirements by collecting collect.py. Okay. So this just gets the data, which is interesting. I guess you could use it to practice your time series forecasting. So yeah, why not? Pretty basic.
So try to be intuitiveness of like try try to learn from others, which leads to my next point of storytelling, like
This
translating
is
insights
actually
from the business
a scraper
to business point
that
of view
can
without
pull data down
hands-on
for
experience
you
and also
to do time
any experience
series
in any
forecasting.
professional industry you can think of, right? Because data science is
Man,
very
writing this
very
stuff in
but very few understand the
Notebook
complexity in
or
data
Notepad is like,
engineering.
I
So
totally miss VS Code.
it's not data
um,
science, right? And then
1 gig
data
of
science,
data.
right?
Do
You can
you
think of it like, okay,
need?
even
Oh, I know
if
why. Okay, the scraper is just doing it
right? And
for each of
one
the
good notebook
tickers.
actually
So that's
that data science is
interesting.
is
Okay,
very
so
good
this would
for.
be kind of hard to deal with.
You do require
I wonder why, like,
strong
if
data
you can just
scientists to actually work on it.
clone the repo and just run the
This
script
kind of
without downloading
kind of
these, because once you run the
those
script, like,
those
all of these
things.
CSVs are out of date.
So make sure when we are
Hmm,
translating our
interesting.
insights for the business point of view, the complexity of model or the math behind it is not happening, especially when you have management
Make
uh,
this bigger.
who are more business driven and are not tech savvy, right? So that's one of the key advice I can provide.
This is massive, and I could put together a YouTube video on this alone because it is such a critical thing.
Actually,
Given that
I
today
kind of wish
in consulting and
my
media
notebook
as
was
well,
a little translucent.
you can be one of the best data scientists in the world, but if you can't convey your results, convey the importance of what you're working on, I guarantee you, you will not excel in your career, right? And that's not even a
Because I
downgrade.
could keep this
And for anyone
stream
listening to this,
on something
it's
else, but that's okay.
you have to build momentum, and the way you do that is to get people excited and confident about your results and what you're putting together. And that only happens if you have the storytelling component. Um, it's a hard truth that
Okay,
cannot be
cool.
discussed enough in education.
What else? Herbal tea reviews.
So critical.
What a niche category.
Like I said, it can make or break your success as an
Interesting.
organization, and that's
There's an
because
API that will help you extract this type of
And
information.
storytelling actually starts from the
Scrape online
bottom up,
reviews
right?
simply with an
Like
API.
so don't assume storytelling comes
Interesting.
immediately when you have
Um,
data science. So it starts in the beginning when you
why did they
get the data, first you do visualization of it,
make this?
initial summaries out of it. That when you start like
So they
converting
basically
into
are trying
dashboards
to, this
and
particular data
are
set is trying to
visualizing
sell an API key. Um,
and
so
then
I
you
wonder
convert
if they're just
that
making a free data set
uh,
available to show
dashboard
like how powerful their data
onto
set is,
the
or their
website
API is.
and you
But
can submit it.
honestly, it's just
Or
a
maybe
scraper, so
right
it's kind of
now
like
you can uncover
whatever.
what gets your buy-in
um,
and then start building
like
a model.
scraping is
And
hard.
from
I will
there
say
you
that
can
it's super super hard.
further
But I mean, I don't, it's up to you to decide whether or not you think it's worth
over there
paying
and
for the
try to see
scraper.
what kind of
Um,
business
I
outcomes
don't.
you're
I
getting.
guess like the big feature of
Translate
this is that you have a
that
bunch of
insight
unstructured data that you could do
into
NLP
what
on,
can be your
and you
future
can try to guess what the
iteration
rating will be. But
through those
I'm looking at the
iterations of
histogram, and look, almost everything's a five,
what kind of business outcome you're
593.
getting,
Let's
right?
look at the
So it's a journey. Storytelling is a journey in the entire data science flow, where it starts from the moment you get the data
number of
and
ratings. There's
you identify
692
the reasons
ratings,
for
and
and finally sometimes step out of
the
the
mean is
box.
4.6.
Sometimes there may be no organization, there may be no
593,
developer
26,
working,
18,
maybe your whole project you're
47.
working on. You might
So
come with like you might see that
44 plus
an area
47 is
or
91 plus 8.
like
Okay, so let's say it's
a project
100.
or
Um,
a type of model
100 of them are not 5 stars, and
item
600 of
that
them
flows
are
into the
5 stars.
dashboard. So
So
try to come out of that 100
if
ratings
you always guessed 5 stars for the rating, you would be correct. What would that be?
I still remember, like in
6 out of 7
practice,
times.
linear regression,
So that's
regression,
14 times
was
6 is
kind of a very
84%
great
of the time, right?
predictive variable to
Hmm.
tell themselves, right? Just by doing regression practices.
I guess it'd be cool.
And
I don't know.
then
I don't like T that much.
like the trend following
Yeah.
instead, like the beauty of the
Um,
databases is that
actually, I'll write
data
this
from the
down.
previous reinforcement
Herbal
learning. Now
tea
we have much more
reviews
advanced methods of AI, right? So
from Amazon
transcripts from large
could
databases to
be
kind of understand
NLP
the model
project
what
with
what are expected
classification
out of starting or an aspiring data scientist
labeled
and actually commercially implementing it.
data
To see that
with
you are
rating.
selected in
Um,
one kind of a project or in one kind of algorithmic setup,
maybe
at the
predict
support of it, try to
a
learn
rating
the
based
methodology. The reason is you
on
never know
the
from
free
the first
text
line of your success story.
review.
With this, I
Let's
end my
see.
presentation. So take data science as a journey. Yeah, it's not a destination. So data scientist is only a beginning of your like of your career, and there is so much to uncover, so much to learn down the line.
I'm trying to think about this webinar and like
Awesome.
it is
That was great.
very motivating to do it. But I think I was kind of hoping for a more technical discussion.
Let me, before we get into the Q&A, because we have tons and tons of
They're gonna enter the Q&A, so maybe that'll be more interesting though.
I shared a couple things in the chat for everyone. One, definitely check out my YouTube channel. All of the previous recordings, etc., are there. This recording will be there, all annotated. Both of our link trees are also in the chat, so reach out to both of us.
Let's see.
We're both
Dance
super
classification?
about
What? What is this? Machine learning project. Part of the project aims to classify different dance moves. There are 9 dance moves: dab, elbow kick, gun, hair, listen, log out, point high, side pump, and wipe table. I'm guessing these are
Keep doing that. I'm like making very silly
all
noises.
Fortnite dances.
Like I said, I don't
The
also
data is in time series and is in raw form.
all like really
Yaw
fast
pitch.
interactive
Labels are correct.
so
Someone performs the
that
data collection 3 times for 9 dance
some
moves.
competency questions. Okay.
Dude, this
So
looks kind of
if you guys are the
cool.
first time in person, I know this is
This
your
looks cool.
very
Okay,
first time as
I'm gonna
well.
put this.
Kind of a rapid fire. I'll ask questions, so we'll kind of dialogue back and forth. I want you to be the first one to answer, and then I'll piggyback and riff off of anything you say.
I wonder if you could try to
We'll
like.
keep this really informal. I'm sure there'll be a lot going in the chat, but let's have fun with this, and we'll leave it to you to kick off all of the answers.
So it's raw sensor data.
With that, for the first question, as a civil engineering undergrad student, how can machine learning be integrated?
Could you predict a move based on the sensor readouts? What about trying to string together a series of moves?
Especially in fluid dynamics, when everything
This
is
is really cool.
what should be the optimal flow,
How can I add?
or how much
Is there like a wish list thing?
how much
Kaggle, come on. I want to add this to like a wish list. I think it'd be so cool. I want to look at this later.
I think all those are currently being evaluated.
Let me see. Oops,
One
that's not what I wanted.
what we can do over there is we can actually have machine learning determine what should be the optimal sizes, right? So you can have different points being connected with
I'm just gonna
uh,
upvote this. Maybe if I.
different
Oh, I haven't done anything on Kaggle. That's funny. Datasets, bookmarks. To save a dataset, look for the bookmark icon on the overflow menu for that dataset. Okay.
with varying levels of parameters.
Bookmark. There we go. Finally. Yeah, that's cool. I think that's a cool dataset. I definitely want to look at that later.
Right, but I was an engineering undergrad. I would say talk to your professors and your
Classic sentiment analysis and toxic tweets dataset. That's, I'm sure you can find that somewhere else. And also more filled than this. What is this one? I think this data exists somewhere else.
Data science
Huh.
managers, in my opinion,
Pizza flavor recommender. Yes. Okay, let's check this out.
I think at least they should
We're going to
have
make a
good
pizza flavor recommendation system that will ask about some general questions from the customer about their taste preferences, and the system will recommend the pizza flavor most relevant to the taste preferences.
validation being done.
Oh, this is
According
cool.
to what the manager should be able to surface them out, and then
I mean, my bias, I just love food. I think this is really cool.
so that the
What
insights
is in this
what
data,
comes
though?
out are at least right in terms of statistical point of view.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
man,
agree.
thinking
Well,
about pizza,
as
I
a
am
manager, you
now
might
getting a little
have
hungry.
not the same technical knowledge. Maybe your programming skills won't be as efficient as, say, a lead programmer or senior data scientist because they're coding more frequently. But at the end of the day, any insight, any model result, any production model, it's essentially on your neck, right? Because you're the manager. It's kind of you're the one who has all that responsibility. So if you don't
Hmm.
know for sure whether what your team is saying is correct or not correct, that kind of puts you in a really tricky position. You're liable for a lot of kind of incorrect results you're putting out there, right? And you
I'm
shouldn't be
looking at
doing
this
that
data
because your
set.
team says right or
Do
wrong.
you
You
like
should
how?
be
Let's
making that
see.
call. In terms of enabling your team, I think finding
Ah.
people
So one
management
thing I don't
tools
like about this
or
pizza data set, this
systems
pizza
that
flavor
help
recommender,
guide
is
management
you
decisions.
have data
Some people
that
like to
lists
do
like customers' preferences and then like the ingredients,
management
but
tools
like
alone.
there's
I'm
no,
not a manager, but with all of my managers
I
I've
don't
worked
know
with,
what it would
it's come
get
across
if you
quite
did
differently.
recommend
I think
a
you really need to
pizza, because
follow
like there's no
the
feedback,
user
there's no
preferences.
labels, all it can really do is, I guess,
That's a great question. That's the first thought.
hmm hmm
Let's see. Anonymous says, "Do you have any good courses to learn TensorFlow?"
everything's in Excel sheets. You can do a KNN algorithm using
So what
Euclidean distance
I learned actually was
and then do the recommended pizza.
with tutorial. I've been under the
Is that,
tutorial
I guess
data
it's
gets
interesting, but
shared
like
with
you don't have a
so
victory
that was
condition,
something
right?
that
Like you recommend the pizza, but then let's like, how did it do? We don't know.
I
Doesn't
still
say.
understand from
So
the
I'll put this in here, but
question.
I don't know. I'm a little.
I think
I wish.
Code
I just
Academy
think it's fun,
would
but
be
I don't know how useful,
beautifully
unfortunately, it would be. Um,
on
Pizza flavor recommender.
Yeah, I think I think Google released one on Coursera as well, so you guys can
Um,
take a look at that.
so yeah,
I've been through it, but it's also another
it's
option.
interesting, but what is the
Cool.
victory
Moving along. So,
condition?
hi, this is from Anthony. What types of personal projects or accomplishments do you
How
have
do you
outstanding,
know
complex, or
if
ready for review for
your
certification or entry-level work? I have a master's in
recommendation
physics and
is
management.
good? There's no label.
um,
Yeah, dang.
physics, right?
I was really hoping that this one would be kind of cool, but oh well.
Yeah, I get start and then
You
definitely
know
ask
what?
for feedback.
Instead of looking at the
With that,
newest ones, what? Hand gestures. Oh,
yeah,
cool. Computer
let's
vision
take a
problem?
look at it.
Computer vision
Personal
problem.
projects
There are
or
5
accomplishments.
classes in the dataset.
Use
One,
that
two,
as a
three,
reference to
four.
then showcase what
That's
work you do
6.
in the workforce,
There are 6
right? So if the
classes.
projects are pretty
One.
vague
Oh, I guess
and
blank isn't a
not
class. I don't know.
like,
But
hey, I'm gonna do this project
all
and
these
then
images can be
that's
used
it,
to detect
right?
hand gestures and images after masking the
Show
images.
how
Oh,
you're
that's
understanding
cool.
the complexity or how in depth the project is working on, right?
Actually, now that I think
And
about it,
I think that's the
um,
fun of how I
so
kind of
this one,
take a
hand
project and I start to
gestures,
do the same thing. And regardless of your background, I think if you're
um,
looking for a project at
computer vision,
Disney or Disney Plus and you want to do entertainment data,
uh,
think about that and push that
makes me
to the
think
next line.
about
Cool. So yeah, I think
possible
understand what you're
ways
saying.
to
I think the
interpret
more complex and in depth that you go
sign
into it,
language.
then you end up learning the most in the long term. Another thing I'll say,
So,
sorry,
I think this is one thing that like
Make sure you reference
I'm
showcase
thinking of because like
all
at
the
work we have to
documents
have a
showcase.
person to do sign language on the webinar.
I get
And
that.
one thing I'm thinking about is, sign language is so fast. I don't know how people like read it, mostly because I just don't know sign language. Um,
Maybe you can pick a different
um,
topic
so let me write out
and
talk about my thoughts and then I'll write them down. Um,
and
One thing that
so
like
that
we probably
the
noticed with
people who
Zoom
actually review
is that like
the
signal can
lecture
sometimes just
when they
crap
go
out.
through the
And the
topic,
resolution can go bad or it'll skip frames, etc., etc. Like, what if you could use like a hand gesture, like ASL type of translation thing,
like a project
um,
where you
to
see
basically
documented
like try to guess the
and
probability of
you
like
can have
maybe there's missing translation thing. Maybe you could do some sort of live transcription. So if like and help establish context. I don't know.
I'm
Like,
gonna ask
I
them
think
how
that'd
you
be
spell
kind of
it.
interesting. And it
So
might solve a problem
understand the point,
because it's like,
but
oh well,
target
like
entry level data
it
science
went to like
itself without
240p for like
with just undergrad only.
for a couple seconds. So like, what happened in that meantime? Um, could
good question.
this could
Right now,
something like this be used to
from the materials,
predict
I don't think there is
um, sign language
some uses
when
where
there's bad uh, connection
I say it's like a
uh, on video chat
not a requirement for a master's student, but I think for the employees
or
or
dropped
either
frames.
the online
Dropped connect when there's bad connection on video chat resulting
or the
in
teacher person
bad low resolution
important so both have its
or dropped frames.
pros and cons to it.
Um, these issues could cause what's it called? Loss of context.
Because it's a bit of more of an uphill battle for everyone. You will be
Cool,
required
cool, cool, cool.
to have a pretty comprehensive portfolio
Maybe I'll
to
bookmark this one. I think it's kind of cool.
say, masters kind of give you that
Um,
stamp of
what do we
approval
look
to
at data
submit your
sets
portfolio.
that they're not trending? Why don't we look at like hot data sets or
Another
good
thing
data
too
sets?
that can depend on how people hire you
Popular data
is
sets. Here we go.
stars. So keep that in mind when you make that decision. You do have to work harder. You can compete
I'm
with
surprised some of these like really
stars.
popular ones are actually really small. Stroke prediction,
Cool. So
Reddit vaccine. Oh boy.
let's see. Okay. I feel like they need structure to learn stuff like data science. How do we target companies with
Oh
structure?
man. Script user
We look for
collection.
people who are just getting into
What
the
is the
data
point of
science.
this? Perform sentiment analysis and identify discussion topics. So I actually really like this data set, although it is kind of disappointing, um,
Actually, that's good
depressing.
that went through the
Reddit.
sorry, carry on.
No, no, let me just add that because of the great experience I have undergone
Interesting data set.
working for some clients over
Um,
the years. So,
good.
what I
Could
understood
use for
I
NLP
think
projects.
in order to even start a data science, right,
What else is in
what we
here?
have is we have the right data, right,
There
and
are
then
8 columns.
and we also need to know what kind of
Score? What does
percentages
score mean?
of the data. So if
Is
we
that
have these two things,
upvotes?
the right set of data, and then
Downvotes?
what is the outcome of our
It's a
data,
little
and then
confusing.
objectives,
Um,
that should be the starting point
column
from where
descriptions.
we can start doing the analysis and then come to data science part.
What is
So
score?
any company who is
Upvotes?
starting the data science for the first time should make sure they have the right data and
The
they know
mean is
what kind of
3.75. What
data
on
they're working
earth?
with.
Definitely. This is another question from Anthony, but I think this is a good one that
Let's see.
a lot of people
Number of
ask.
comments.
And I
Interesting.
know R, SQL, Python at an intermediate level. Should I get better with those, or I think
Could you make
Python is good enough?
like
My thought is that
an activity
get
or
R, SQL, and Python
popularity
are sufficient in order to even
guesser, predictor?
even have even go towards
Um,
like multi-cluster level coding or a Spark specific PySpark or Spark
what
architecture.
about a
So
recommender
getting from basic to the advanced part
system?
with R, SQL, and Python is not
I think this
necessary.
could be a cool
And
data set.
in a new language, because
What if you could try to predict if they're bots?
That would be taken up to the next level in order to
It's not labeled to see if it's a bot or not, but that'd be kind of cool.
some kind of some sort of
If
database
you could
database.
predict if
In
it
the end,
was a bot
doing
account.
exploits into whatever underneath
Not labeled
whatever code
that
base
way,
is
but
being detected,
I
right?
think
The
it
ability
would
to
be
provide a
interesting.
true investigative approach.
Totally agree. I will say, I think you mentioned PySpark.
Let's
Definitely,
see.
if you have no familiarity with PySpark or Spark at all, I would get accustomed to that. I think for data science, you don't need to be a Spark expert, but if you are familiar and are able to potentially build your code in a distributed fashion, it does make you that much more marketable because, I mean, in data science and imagine Amazon's advertising data, right? That is just massive, massive size data sets, right? So if you can work in a distributed way, it makes you more efficient because you don't have to worry about the bottlenecks of like computational efficiency. Cool. So Rajdeep has one question that is great. Okay. Is it feasible to do some form of ML research or new development without a PhD?
Absolutely. Uh, at Amazon itself, I've seen so folks doing ML research and they publish pretty good papers
I
in very international conferences. So PhD is kind of PhD to me. It gives you a cutting edge in terms of how do you translate the
okay, cool. I left the webinar. I mean, it was pretty cool. I thought it was like really high level. So I don't know. I think I'm having actually a little bit more fun exploring these data sets and hearing people ask like pretty high level questions and stuff is like it's interesting to hear what everyone is thinking about. I think there are really good questions like, do you need a PhD to become a data scientist, and what are the techniques and stuff you should learn, or that are useful. So actually, like, I kind of think you could probably maybe not the live streams because I'm not sure what unique information you'll actually hear from that live stream recording, but I think like I'm gonna check out that guy's YouTube channel to see. I think I saw like way more specific examples on how to do things and good techniques to learn. I left after they were talking about like you should probably pick up a little bit of Spark to understand it a little bit. I think some of these issues, that, at least when I was applying to become a data scientist, it's really hard to predict what you're going to be doing as a data scientist. And if you look at the overall field of like what people think we should be doing, it's so much information. It's like you have to be a master at continuous improvement, continuous development pipelines. So that's software engineering, and then also understanding how to tell a story and like getting like a business side involved so that you can actually get a lot of stakeholders on board with whatever you want to talk about. So that's more soft skill development. In addition to knowing like your stats and machine learning. And I think one of the dangers of like going to too high a level of hearing all these things is like just trying to learn enough software engineering to be like the ideal data scientist when you're applying is I think a little bit of like a almost like a Sisyphean task. So it's incredibly hard. Like when I was learning stuff, it was like, okay, you should learn Python, SQL, and R, but like just because like those are the things that you're going to see most frequently. And then it turns out like learning 3 languages is pretty difficult. For me, I came from basically a non-traditional background, even though it's engineering. I didn't do a lot of computer science before my data science boot camp, so it was pretty hard to hear. And I also try to simultaneously learn 3 languages. Like SQL, relatively simple to pick up, but it's like pretty tricky to master, and it's also very dependent on the database that you're working with and what you're trying to get out of it, right? So like my food database is honestly like really simple. I scraped like I need to queue up the scraping again. The scraping is actually like pretty simple in terms of like go get the URL, go get the ID, get the ingredients and put them in a list, and then get the steps and put them in a list. And like, not hard, but I don't have a time series dependence on that data. And I have had to deal with SQL databases during interviews where like they were specifically asking things for like window functions, which is like, if you don't do them very often, like it can be tricky to know the syntax to like get a complicated SQL query using those things to work. So like, to hear like, you know, you need to learn Python and R, it's like, well, there's some overlapping functionality, and like you can do so much stuff in either language. And specifically, like from my experience with Python, you can do so much that like, to tell someone like, oh, you also have to figure out how to do this in R, is like, well, that's a lot of time investment. And hearing like, learn enough Spark to do things like, currently, what I guess one of the things with my job is like, I don't do a lot of what I would even consider data science, because like we don't have a lot of the tech pipeline there yet. But I think hearing like you should learn Spark is like, not everything is gonna use Spark. I think like it's really dependent on where you are. So yeah. Anyway, that was a tangent. I think it's just like if you're interested in data science, like there's so many things that people will tell you to learn. And it can be difficult to realize, like sometimes you just gotta like work on something. And if it's hard, but you like working on that, then you'll probably be motivated to keep working on it. Yeah. Holy crap, what is this? Clubhouse dataset. User profile dataset from Clubhouse. Extracting the hierarchical structure of the invitations? Okay, so the data contains 3.5 million user profiles. Interesting. They have a user ID, a name, a photo URL, username, Twitter, Instagram, number of followers I'm following, time created, invited by user profile, and then also invited by club. So they're basically, I guess you could try to find, this is, I mean, the visualization is really cool. And I wonder if you could try to do some like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon from sort of thing from this. Let me put this in here. Like, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. I don't exactly know what I'd be doing with this data set though. Let's see. Yeah, you could just observe network effects. Maybe try to predict influence of other social media platforms. Man, I don't know. I think this is cool. Mostly because I think the visual's really cool. But I'm trying to figure out like what you could actually do with this. I'm not sure if I mean, there's like technically personal information in here because it's got like Twitter profiles. Sql Lite Database. Okay. I would actually recommend trying to use this. I'm going to bookmark this. This looks very cool. I think this one should also give you some practice in SQL. And it's like probably pretty clean data. Usability 10. Yeah, I think this would be fine. Man, okay. I guess one problem is because it's a SQL Lite database, you cannot preview this. So, man, this looks really interesting. If they put time created, okay. So you could also do you could actually do some of the more advanced functions like window functions. Maybe get like a rolling 7-day window of like what does it look like over time, in terms of like getting users to sign up, what their followers look like. Actually, I don't think you can look at that. I don't think it pings that. Does it? Interesting, because like if it shows. I wonder how often this gets scraped. And then would you have a new record for each person every time it gets scraped? Man, okay. Okay, I think this one's cool. I'm gonna say recommend as a data nerd. Yeah, okay, cool. Stroke prediction. Use to predict whether patient is likely to get stroke based on the input parameters. Okay. Pretty, I think probably a pretty classic data set. And then there's also hepatitis C. Yeah, this one is probably also interesting, but I feel like I just like nerded out enough over the previous one that I'm like, okay, this one is a little bit more, you have a very clear goal in mind, is to predict stroke. I don't know if, let's see if, yeah, and that's labeled. So a stroke prediction data set. And I'm going to say pretty classic prediction on classifications. Probably done a lot, so you can judge your performance against others. Yeah, and it's healthcare. I don't know. I think it's cool. I think there's going to be also maybe practice. Let's see what the data looks like. You'll probably also have practice with a little bit of data wrangling because, yeah, you have zeros and ones. You got to convert this to binaries. Different types of, yeah. Okay, yeah, this one's good too, and it's small, so you know, you can just keep practicing on it. 5,000 observations. Yeah, also recommend as maybe like a first try at binary classification. Okay. Trying to see what other things are in there. Anime recommendation database. Here we go. 300. Okay, so 326,000 users. Information about the. Well, I am totally gonna weeb out on this. From my anime list. Okay, cool. I think this would be kind of interesting. I'm gonna bookmark it and maybe do some investigation later. I don't know. I've been getting back into anime. Currently watching Kuroko's basketball. Finished Haikyuu. As much as what's on Crunchyroll. Anime recommendation database. Of course, like make a recommender. System. Yeah. Okay, and then there's a GitHub. Cool. Okay, well that's a warning one. Could probably just flag out those that fall in that category. Yeah. Okay. I think this is really cool, and it's also pretty standard. Probably popular. 3 gigs. This data set is 3 gigs. Okay, cool. Honestly, that's like not big. It's big for Kaggle. That's the thing. Like these 3 gigs for a file is not gigantic. However, I think Kaggle, I'm so used to seeing like pretty small data sets. Cool. Did I bookmark this? I did. Cool. Actually, what is the biggest data set? I can't filter based off of that. Can we? Or can't sort based off of that. Well, let's try computer vision, right? If we did computer vision, these should all be big. Yeah, 11 gigs NIH chest x-rays, because it's going to be all pictures. 18 gigs for light specularity? What is that? Photorealistic images based on physically based rendering of scenes. Proposed dataset for evaluation and comparison techniques related to the interaction between... Oh, that's cool. Ooh. Okay. That's pretty cool. But what do you... I guess what would you do with this? Okay. What else we got? Quick draw sketches. It's from Google. Interesting. Oh, you could do classification. Because everything's labeled, right? So, oh, you can do drawing array. Oh, that's cool. I wonder if you could make something that could draw something. What if you could use this to play, like, what is that game? Is it Pictionary? Charade? Not charades. That's when you act it out. The game where it's like charades, but you got to draw it. You don't act it out. I think this would be cool. Let's bookmark this one. Quick draw sketches. Tiny quick draw concert. Let's see. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So it's like kind of labeled. Looks interesting. Could you make a game where you try to have the computer draw something with a little fuzziness and see if people can guess correctly, or have people draw something and try to classify. Yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool. There we go. Asl Alphabet. That was what I was looking for before. Unvoiced. Oh, these are drawings. Let's see. Okay. And then related to hand gestures. Add this one as well to the bookmarks. I think that's cool. Stanford cars. Is it like University of British Columbia's University of Beautiful Cars? 16,000 images of 200 classes of cars. Oh, this is already also trained. It's a train test split. Try to tell cars from one another. Oh, that's pretty cool. Fingerprint dataset. Google landmarks. Lisa traffic light? What is this? Trying to identify traffic lights, I guess. But, okay. I guess if you used it in a GAN, you could then keep training like autonomous driving. It hasn't been updated in 3 years. I guess this is kind of cool. It also makes me think of the stupid CAPTCHAs, so maybe that's why I'm a little less like enthused about it. Oh, cool! Another Asl Alphabet Test, and these use real-world pictures. Okay, that's cool. I think I will try to, so I'll save this document, and then I think I'll put it into like, maybe on GitHub as like these are potential project ideas I find interesting. Massachusetts roads database or dataset. Oh, cool. I don't get, I'd love to hear the explanation for this. Why are there so many data sets that are already split to train and test split? Like, I feel like I would just prefer to have the whole data set and randomly split it and assign a random seed, so that I can like keep track of how well it does, but also like I feel I'm a little worried that like people could overtrain on the training set very easily, or even just like do something with the validation and test set that makes your score go up higher. Yeah. Okay, cool. I don't know if there are data sets. Oh, man, the iris data set. And then, oh, credit card fraud. Is this credit card customers? What is this one? Predict churn. Oh, that's pretty cool. This is like a real world problem to solve. Yeah, let's bookmark this one. I thought this was going to be like one of those classic, like, let's try to predict fraud, which is like also an interesting problem, still very hard, because like, I don't know, like not that many credit card transactions turn out to be fraud. And they point out here only like 16% customers churn. So it is an underrepresented proportion of the sample. So it's hard. But I don't know. I think churn is a little bit more interesting than trying to predict fraud, to be completely honest. So yeah, what was this one called? Credit card customers. Predict. I'm gonna be a little bit more descriptive. Predict churn among credit card customers. Okay, cool. Hard problem. Hard classification problem. Underrepresented target class. How to handle. Undersample the majority. Synthetic. We oversample from the minority. A lot of questions. This is like one of my. I've asked a couple of people like, what is the answer when you have uh, uh, overly weighted data, such as this. I forgot what the exact word is now, but like when you've got an overrepresentation of one class versus another, and I was like, do you penalize sampling from the uh, more popular class, or do you do synthetic minority oversampling? And the answer I got is it depends. You kind of, I guess you just kind of try both, and you just keep trying to iterate with your model to see which one actually does better. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is a pretty cool data set, and I feel like would provide a good learning experience. Yeah. What else? I just realized this is this a violation of Twitch terms of service? You cannot share content from other sites. All right. A little bit of water break there. I don't know if that is entirely fair. I'm just like, we're just trying to look at things that could be cool, fun data science projects. TensorFlow flowers? What? Flickr image data set? What are these? Okay, there's no description in this summary, so that's not great. I guess they're just like flowers generated by TensorFlow. Usability 4.4. That sounds honestly about right. Yeah. I have no idea what's happening in this data set. Okay. Flickr. There's captions. Oh, that's cool. This one's cool. There's captions that you can do NLP on. Let's write this. Excuse me. Let's write this down. Flickr image data set. Rich data set. Captions to do NLP. Images to do computer vision. Could try to do object detection. Objection detection. Object detection. Let's see what else. Is there geolocations in this? No, it doesn't look like it. Looks like they also mentioned, oh, a color classifier. Yeah. So one thing about open accessibility of stuff, when you put images on the web, it's very easy for someone who can see to see what the picture is about. But like one thing I've seen people encourage is to try to put alt text on the images so that there's some sort of description. So if you've got like a very visual heavy site, people who are vision impaired can actually try to figure out what's going on. So if you, I think like one of the interesting things you could do with computer vision is just have a good thing that identifies the content of an image and then use it to generate the alt text. I'm sure this exists already because like it maybe, I don't know, maybe it doesn't make money, but it's also like it's just nice to let people use the internet. So like I wonder if you could use it for this, especially if enough of this stuff is labeled, right? Yeah, maybe it'd be about as good as like the YouTube auto captioning, but I feel like that is a step up from literally having nothing, right? So yeah, cool. I like that one. What else do we got? Fruit images for object detection, car object detection. I'm not too enthused on those. Traffic sign recognition, anime faces. Could you, I wonder if this got mixed with like facial recognition computer vision stuff so that you can like put an anime filter face on. That's funny. Right? This must, this must be something like this. I'll put this down here. Anime faces dataset could maybe use this as a basis for creating an anime face filter. Maybe, I don't know. It's really low resolution, but then like you would think that maybe that wouldn't hurt anime faces too much, but I'm seeing a lot of jaggies in the diagonal, so like it does look kind of bad. I don't know how you'd mix it with an actual live camera feed. I think that'd be pretty interesting. Let's see, so it'd be computer vision with live camera feed. I don't know. I think it'd be pretty cool. Yeah, cool. Okay, I think I might actually call it soon because like we're just looking at data, and now I'm like, oh man, it'd be cool to like kind of work on something. So I will save this as maybe like a GitHub gist, and just say like, oh, these are interesting data sets, and why maybe. Like some of these are interesting and they're just not, I don't think they'd be very interesting for the wrong reasons. Like I don't maybe recommend that CT and MRI brain scans one. But yeah, so I would love to talk to people more about these kinds of projects and what people are interested in trying. Maybe we can help find a data set and like pour through it together. Or we can actually like, I think maybe one day I'll just give up and I'll just install all my coding stuff on my actual desktop. Trying not to, because like it has so many photos and videos on it for editing, and I don't want to like take the risk of like crossing over too much and just depending on that device too much. But yeah, so reach out to me, Instagram, GitHub. Oh, I should share my GitHub. So let's see. Cool, right there. That's me. I'll put that in chat. Yeah. And if people ever want to, give me a shout, it looks really inactive because like I haven't been able to do anything that's not work related. So yeah, people want to give me a shout and talk to me. I'm always open to meeting new people and hearing about your projects and work. But yeah. So GitHub, Twitter, it is on there. I should probably actually, one of these days I'll remember like a copy paste thing. Let's see. Okay. So, well, gotta be a better way to do this. Say feel free to. Sorry, you're witnessing me just writing a new admin thing. Wherever you can find me. YouTube, Twitch, GitHub. Oh man, I think I am really annoyed by the new Microsoft, the new Windows 10 like copy paste, because it tries to preserve like some weird context. So you have to do like, oh my gosh, you do like Control Shift or something, and sometimes I just don't care to do that. I just want to paste the link. I don't care about the original, about what the thing was. There we go. That was way too complicated. Let's see. And oh, Twitter. I think it's at I'll probably redo some of my profile names sometime to make them a little bit more. Oh my, it did it again. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. So with that struggle bus on the last couple minutes, I'm gonna sign off. So yeah, I hope to see y'all soon, or around in general. If not, have a nice night, and yeah, stay safe, mask up, go get vaccinated. Okay. I will see.